Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Esports podcast. I'm your host, William, and with me today I have Brock
Hello.
and Brian.
Hello.
This is the end of the season podcast. We'll still do podcasts during the playoffs, but this is the end of the regular season, I should say. And the final score and predictions, sadly, I don't have these for EU because they never show them on the Sunday. I hope they show them next week, maybe. I don't know. If you see them on any Twitter stuff. I'm really bad at looking at Twitter. If you see them, let me know. I think that's you counting you two as well, Brian and Brock. If you see their final stats, I'd like to know. I'm curious. But just for us three, I won at 57 and 53. Brian got second at 53 and 37, and Brock got last at 51 and 59. Still a good win rate though. 51 out of 90 is still a 56% pick average. Not bad.
Hey, we out here.
So 57 out of 90 was the best at 63%, and Brian, you were, just to do it, 59%.
Oh man.
Pretty good, close to 60. And
Yeah.
the week was 7-3, 6-4, 6-4. And we can go quickly through the games because we're not doing our predictions today. Am I alive? Yes. Hi, boss. How have you been? Yes, but we're not gonna do the predictions today. We're gonna save those for next week. And that will be a very quick podcast. That'll probably be like a 10 to 15 minute podcast next Thursday. But we're going to do our year in review. So if you looked at all of our predictions, if how many times I picked Fnatic, that's how many wins I thought Fnatic was going to have. And then we'll see our standings compared to the real standings just to see how we do. All right.
It's really cool, we promise.
I promise. I'm bad at explaining things. I like it, though. And we'll also do our prediction accuracy. So how many times we picked the team, how many times was that correct type deal. But all right, let's get to the games. First game was Splice versus Misfits. Misfits started out strong until a certain objective came around. What's that objective that spawns at 20 minutes, guys?
No.
I mean,
Not
it
an
could be
important one.
breaks depending on when you took it.
You know what? You are technically correct, Brian. What's the objective that spawns every game at exactly 20 minutes? That would be Baron.
Oh, Baron, yeah.
Yeah, that one. That objective, little objective, that teams or Misfits, they don't play very well around. So they were winning this game, taking some objectives here, and then they threw Baron again. For the fifth or sixth game in a row, it's been insane. It's been it's been terrible. If anything they have to work on in the off season is work on their Baron calls, my God. And then they threw the Baron, give up towers, equals out the gold lead like we've seen before, and then a team with Vayne and Azir, you could beat them as they were early. They were up to 4K lead. You can close that out on Vayne and Azir. You just have to do smart team fights. Didn't happen. Now you have Vayne and Azir at an even state going into 30+ minute game. You're gonna win that 100 times out of 100, or 99 times out of 100. Just bad. I'm so disappointed with Misfits on the entire year.
I'm a little tired of teams just attempting to take Baron.
I'm tired of teams throwing Barons. Yeah. EDG.
I'm tired of pauses. This has been the split of pauses.
Yeah, especially in LEC.
Oh, yeah. They've had a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I was kind of out on Misfits from the get-go. I foresaw some communication errors.
Mm-hmm.
I put them 6th. I was wrong. They were lower. So,
Funny you say that though.
mm-hmm.
Next we'll go to the next game. We had SK versus Rogue. Rogue had a decent game here. I mean, they kind of blew it at the very end, but this was before Baron though. Before Baron, they gave up. Crown Shot popped off on the Tristana, by the way. Sorry for starting 5 sentences there, but yeah, it was a very close game. Rogue was taking control through the mid game. They had a very decent sized lead, about 4K gold, and they had a Kai'Sa, so they had scaling, and they had the Jarvan. Prophet looked terrible on the Jarvan personally. He was 1-7 and 11. This is not necessarily his fault as well. He was the only main frontline, and going frontline into Skarner is really hard to do because he
And
just
Galio
drags
and
you
Kennen.
away. Yeah, exactly. And LeBlanc to assassinate you, and Tristana to do a lot of damage as well. Not really his fault. He had 3 deaths in the top lane though, and that is his fault. But yeah, there were big game here, but sadly at the end, Crownshot got to late game. Crownshot had a phenomenal week, by the way. He had a huge late game team fight carry here, got SK back to even with Rogue, and then they took the Baron and took the Elder, and with the Baron and Elder Drake, they were able to just close out this game completely.
That's a pretty steep graph.
It's a very steep graph. Like a 3-minute difference between even to 8k gold lead.
Yep.
Next, we had game of the week. Fnatic versus G2. What a game.
Heartbreak of the week.
Heartbreak for Brian. Oh my god. I thought I had this game in the bag. As you can tell, Fnatic started out this game really well. 8k gold lead by 22 minutes, 5k gold lead at 16 minutes, 4k gold lead at like 10 or 13 minutes. Like, this was a blowout from the very beginning. And then you have this 22 to 34, this 12-minute stalemate where Fnatic just cannot punch through G2's front line. And they weren't like losing anything really. They only lost 500 gold difference between this. But during this whole time, G2 was just slowly scaling up, slowly getting perks back on, and perks and Wonder especially on the rise, was just fantastic. And then they eventually were able to bring the gold lead all the way down to 2k with a Baron take. And then they brought it even to a gold lead at the very end at 1k. And this game ends in a huge base race at the end of the day. It was amazing. This is when Reckless and Hylissang go over the wall while I believe it's Wonder and was it Wonder and Perks or Wonder and Caps? I don't remember off the top of my head. I believe it was Wonder and Perks trying to end it on the other side. And if Wonder would have taken two caster minions with him in the Rise ult, they would have had the tower defense, the tower defense bonus go off, and they would have probably won the game. It was so close. It was such a close base race at the end of it. Just an insane game. This was a 48-minute game.
Yeah, I mean, I called it. I'm just saying it. I literally called what was going to happen this week. I said in my power rankings, this week is going to set up Fnatic for first place and G2 for third. Obviously, that's not the real rankings because G2, whatever. But I did call what was going to happen.
I think all of us said that, actually.
I said the same
Someone
thing.
didn't pick Fnatic.
Brian didn't.
Brian that
but
didn't pick
he,
Fnatic?
I didn't. I was trying to catch up,
he
though.
was trying to catch up.
You're
We
trolling.
all were thinking that, but
You all year.
I am going to say that because of how much of a near throw Fnatic had,
This is with a backup support.
yeah, on G2. So and they nearly threw this. I know I said it on the other podcast that if they beat G2, they'd be number 1. I couldn't do it in my power rankings. By the way, I didn't get your guys' power rankings for this, but we'll do them on the fly. But yeah, I have to put.
I didn't know we needed them.
Yeah, end of season. You need one more time. It was a fantastic game though. Fantastic game though. You didn't need predictions, so that was.
I still put G2 ahead of them because G2 lost to that team. It's difficult to not put a team ahead of them.
Oh, I have Fnatic ahead of G2 still. I just have Origin ahead of everyone.
Origin?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't G2's playing Origin, right?
Yep.
In the
Yep.
playoff
That'll be
time?
the first. That's the first and second place.
That
Yeah.
determines who goes to
Final.
the final straight away and who has to play the team who comes out of the little gauntlet type deal.
Yep. I really like that try. That's a very unique and cool,
I do too.
cool
It's
idea.
interesting.
It puts more emphasis on the regular season as well.
It does, because the first and second place teams, doesn't really matter which one you are.
Yeah.
It puts so much
It's a lot
so
better
much
than just
pressure,
getting
so
a
much
bye.
weight off your shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, so we have the next game was Excel versus Vitality. Excel just destroyed Vitality this game. This was a 28-minute game. I mean, it was... I shouldn't say destroyed. Sorry. It was close until one fight. It was one... This was a little skirmish here for the tower, which I believe Vitality won that skirmish because they got a tower and 2 kills for just 2 kills. But after that, fight at Baron, 4 for none, grab the Baron, get another fight, win the game. 28
Oh, yeah.
minutes. And Excel looked pretty good. I'm excited to see Excel next year. Or they obviously were eliminated, but they did much better than I expected them to this year. I
Yeah,
expected them for last
so
place.
I know we said we weren't going to listen to Euphoria because we missed it and like the weekend already happened,
Yeah,
but
you did
I
anyway.
needed something to listen to, so I just listened to it, and Cadril was on it. And at the beginning of the year, I was talking about how I don't think Excel's going to do well. They're trying to fly from London to Berlin for
Yeah.
the games. Well, they're living in Berlin now. Like towards the middle of the season, they realized this isn't going to work. I can't believe no one told them that that's not going to work.
And that's when they kind of stepped up a bit too. So it's like shocking.
Yeah, exactly.
Weird how those results worked out.
Oh yeah, you haven't had to travel for 2 to 3 hours before your games.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they destroyed Vitality. Vitality looks very shaky coming into playoffs.
They do.
I think they're the worst.
Yeah,
playoff
it's kind
team
of
at the
tough.
moment.
And for the people who watch our podcast, who literally for like how many podcasts has it been where we've been seeing veins that just pop off? Here's one of your reasons why you shouldn't pick Vayne.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work.
Did not work in LCK today either. That's for sure.
Big yikes.
At least for KT. It worked for Griffin. Griffin back.
Oh,
They're back. Next we have OG versus SO4. OG just stomped SO4 in this game. They did, even at SO4 didn't even have that 1 minute gold lead that you always see every now and then, you know? Get the extra CS. They don't even have that. Because there was first blood before 2 minutes.
Wow.
Cold killed Olawame on a level 2 gank. Just instantly from then on, all the way downhill. They did get a Rift Herald and tower, SO4.
Yeah.
But that's it. They got 3 kills as well in a team fight for 2 for 3, but they gave up a tower at the same time. But from then on, straight blowout, all OG. And honestly, props to Cold and Alfari. They have really stepped up and Mithy, honestly. All 3 of them really stepped. Patrick and Nuke Duck have been pretty good all split, in my opinion. But they have the other 3 have stepped up their game a ton in the last 3-4 weeks.
After last season, you'd have never heard me say one of us would have said, "Good job, Mythy."
I know you flamed him so hard even this year.
Yeah. I did as well. Like, I had strong words for Mithy at the beginning of this split because it was the exact same stuff we were seeing from him on TSM.
Yeah. What do you think about the Swain into Lysandra?
Disgustingly good.
Pretty good?
I've only seen it lose once. I don't remember which region it was, but it lost pretty bad. And I was like, wow, that's the first time I've seen that. Every time I've seen it in multiple regions now, and every time it's worked out fantastically.
Yep. Nuke Duck, he had an interview on the newest episode of Euphoria, spoiler, and he was talking about how his champion Ocean, he doesn't just grind out solo queue and play 50 games on each champion. He'll play those champions in scrims against certain matchups that he knows he wants to take that champion into. So like the Swain, he only will really practice against Lysandra, and he'll play it against Lysandra.
That's really smart of him too.
Yeah.
So like because he's never gonna pick it into a different matchup, so he doesn't have to practice that matchup.
And even if he does pick it, he plays it. So like it wouldn't be. I guess I'm a pro. Like I should just play it. But,
reading the abilities.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, what's this doing?
How much damage do I do? Okay, cool.
Yeah. It looked fantastic. I love Swain too. It made me want to play more Swain because I really enjoy Swain a lot. Next we had Misfits vs G2. Game didn't mean anything at all. This was one of those games where Misfits was already eliminated, G2 was already in playoffs, but Misfits ended up winning this game. And Febiven had a great game on the Syndra. This was kind of a blow. You know this game didn't mean anything when it was.
Guess who predicted this one?
You. Out of desperate.
But it hit. I was so close to actually getting the perfect comeback. The G2 match, this match, and then what was the next?
Rogue.
Last one? Rogue? Yeah. Over who? I don't even remember.
SO4? What was it?
Man. Imagine how upset you would be.
I would have been upset. We'd have to go through tiebreakers again, just like last year. You caught up to me last year the same way. In the last 3 weeks, I was up like 5 points on you and just gained on me in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, we'll see if I can do it in NA.
We'll find out this weekend. But yeah, you could tell this game didn't matter because there was 5 kills by 2 minutes. You never see that in pro play.
This was a fun one to
Yeah,
watch.
this was just a fun. This is when pros are laid back and just going at it.
Yeah, like what is vision? I don't need a control board. I need that long sword.
Actually, their support still played 61 wards and.
Well, I'm not saying they just
Yeah.
throw out their brains. I mean, like the laners.
Yeah. Okay. They still placed a lot of wards for average, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Compared to you.
Yeah, but they also there was a fun game to watch, like you said. Wonder didn't have a great game on the Camille, but he had a fantastic game on Rise before. Caps had a pretty good game on the Zoe, but Fepivin had a better game on the Syndra, and they just went all around fun game. Not too much analysis into the game because it really meant nothing, but like that. But it was just a fun game to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we had SO4 versus Rogue. So it wasn't that game. Was it this game? Yeah, it was this game. Where Rogue was winning this whole game.
The entire game.
for the first 26 minutes. And then what do we see here? What is that objective again?
Baron throw.
That Baron is like bad teams, good teams can like fully control a Baron and close out their games with the Baron. Teams that aren't as good make the Baron 50-50. They're going to win the game or lose this game on the Baron no matter what the current game state is.
I mean, it's kind of nice to have that kind of control over your games.
Yeah.
Unless you lose.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm disappointed in Rogue because I've been telling. I don't know if you've been on these podcasts, but I've been telling Brock in almost all the podcasts. This with Ezreal nerfs and 9.6 is going to be the best bot lane. I guarantee it.
Ash Tom Kench is the most boring bot lane to watch.
Boring, but it is disgustingly good. It is so safe.
I'd rather see some Ash Tarek. I want to see Tarek.
Yeah, I'd love to see Tarek again. But
that's a throwback for all of our listeners. When
the gem
when William and I were new to the game, he would play Tarek because he had gems, and I would play Amethyst Ash, and we were the gym rats. And we stomped silver and bronze. Well, not bronze.
Except in lane.
Yeah, except in lane.
Literally under tower 100% of the time.
But we won a lot.
We won a lot. That was the good old days. That was back in the first season ranked I played. Season 5, I think. Oh, miss those days. Now I just lose every game.
Washed up.
I'm washed up. Yeah, I'm not on my Smurf, but on my main account, I am completely washed up. I don't know what it is. Anyway, we got SK versus Vitality. This was a blow. This is the blowout I was originally talking about with Vitality. Oh my god. It was a 20-minute game, guys. This game lasted 20 minutes and 24 seconds.
Yeah, this one, Vitality, a landslide, I think is what they call it.
Yeah. And it's not like SK had the early game advantage. They had Jinx versus Lucian.
I mean, I heard someone saying that some of these lower tier teams are picking late game carries because they know they're not good enough to just steamroll an opponent, but if they get late, whew,
I love Jinx.
If they can hold, then they're gonna win.
I think Jinx has only lost like 2 games in the 5 major regions so far. One of them was 100 Thieves, so it doesn't count. But
yeah, it was just piloted by Bang, the 2-time world champion.
Yeah, deal with the Afro moves to support though, so and Anda's a jungler. But yeah, it's just, and then they had Warlib, which I finally said right. On Jax.
Warlib.
Yep. Jax, so you had late game Jax, you had late game Jinx, I mean early game with Rek'Sai, but yeah, just straight blowout. 20 minutes. 20-minute game is not good.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Late game champions, 20-minute and 24-second win.
Yeah. We couldn't have a Baron throw in this game because Baron just spawned up.
Yeah.
Baron spawned up while they were taking the Nexus towers.
Yeah, there was a big Nexus throw.
Yeah, it was a terrible game by Vitality, and that's why in my personal rank, I have them as the worst playoff team going in right now.
You know what they could be doing? It could be they knew they secured playoffs. They know they're going to get picked by someone they don't want to play later if they're playing bad. So maybe Yamato's just sandbagging and he has some crazy strats and they're just gonna come out strong in playoffs. That's what G2's doing.
I would give you that, except for they were tied for second place coming into this week. So I feel like the second place should have been a motivator because you get a free best of 5 loss.
Well, I feel like once they lost, I'm sure they didn't do it like intentionally, but
they got blown out in the first game as well.
Yeah, but
yeah,
whatever.
It was a very, very ugly week.
Whatever. I'll shut up.
Yeah, we could. I mean, it could happen. You could be right. Vitality could stomp in the playoffs. No one knows, and that's what's fun. Next game we had was OG versus Excel. OG stomped through Excel. This game sealed second place for OG, and yeah, that was no, actually didn't because Splice hadn't played yet. I don't believe, but yeah, OG just straight up stomped the Swain against Lysandra, destroyed his Lysandra again, and now I think after 2 in a row, that's where all the other regions were like, we should look into this. Like, this looks really strong, and it is. It really destroys Lysandra. He has all the wave clear Lysandra does, but with like stronger team fighting.
He's got some further range CC.
Mm-hmm.
Lysandra has to pretty much go in.
Yeah, he doesn't have to go in on his CC like Lysandra. It's the same exact CC except he stays back.
Not to mention his follow-up CC, where he just has to click on somebody.
Yeah, and yeah, he can be the support if he just needs his teammates to do the ADC. Or the ADC. They need to do CC for him.
Well, what if you can pull someone while Skarner's ulting them? I wonder how that works.
I don't know.
I do know you can pull with Blitzcrank out because I saw that the other day. Skarner dragged him.
The Skarner drag is a suppress. The Blitzcrank is just a pull.
Yeah, I know. It was just funny because I saw like a Skarner drag someone out of the base to the right, and then like someone pulled him back the other way back to the left, and just like getting torn apart. It was really funny. But yeah, and then next, wrap it up. Game number 10 was Fnatic versus Splice. I believe Splice needed this win to go to a tiebreaker with OG, but Fnatic did not let them have it. Fnatic destroyed them in this game, and Fnatic looked really good coming into playoffs. Like, really, really good. Which is amazing to say after the first 5 weeks, where they looked like one of the worst teams with Rogue.
You very rarely see a team go from just the very bottom all the way back up to the very top.
Nope, we saw it last summer with C9.
Yeah, so
once
proves the rarely thing I said. It doesn't happen often.
It's the new meta. It happens once a split now, Brock.
Yeah, that's what we get. Once a split, we're going to see a good team just sandbag the whole year and then come back.
The whole first half, and then they come back and just destroy. Which means Fnac's going to get swept in the finals, right? The G2. If it's anything like NA.
Yeah, we need them to get swept by NA team.
Yeah.
Yeah, payback.
Yeah, Rift Rivals isn't looking great with G2, Fnatic, and OG on the plate.
Yeah. Like, you remember, like, 3 weeks ago when we're like, Rift Rivals looks pretty good for NA. Like, we have Liquid, which we still do. C9 looks a little worse. TSM looks pretty strong. And then I believe it was G2, which had lost their first game. SO4 and Vitality was like, in SO4 and Vitality were struggling and have continued to struggle. But, like, I was thinking, like, NA has a pretty good shot here.
I can't wait for my Fnatic jerseys to come in.
Now it's looking not so hot. Not so hot.
Wait, you're getting a Fnatic and an Optic jersey?
Sure I am.
Is it gonna be Fnatic big as well? You can do custom.
No, it's gonna be Fnatic. It's gonna be Fnatic SOAS.
Knock off. Old jersey.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, they're on sale.
We do have one more game because it was a tiebreaker game. This game decided who got the 6th seed, and it was SK versus SO4, and the winner was SK. As I probably already said earlier. I think I did say SK was stronger than Vitality coming into
spoilers.
Sorry. But look at where the game changes. Third time we get to listen to this or look at this in this podcast. Yeah, that's not necessarily a Baron throw necessarily this time, but it was a Baron cleanup for Crown Shot. That's a quadra kill on the Tristana. And when Tristana gets a quadra kill, things aren't looking in your favor. This game turned on its head. Like, this game started, I remember we were watching this game. It was like really late, Brian.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it was like, I was thinking like, wow, SO4, early game, kill. They give up a Cloud Drake, but they get a Rift Herald and another kill. That's a big win. Another trade for a kill. And then like all of a sudden, quadra kill for Tristana. 5 minutes in, 6 minutes later, the game's over. In 5-6 minutes after the quadra kill for SK, not SF4. It was just a complete collapse, pretty much, by SF4, which pretty much sums up their entire year if you think about it. Really good start, and then plummet.
Yeah, I mean it's disappointing
it's so disappointing.
I'd say for Upset mostly because he's had a good split. I'd say with everything that's going on the team. I feel like Memento he played okay this game, but he's really been down.
He had a rough
Abadage can pretty much only play Lissandra consistently.
Sorry, I just thought of something.
No, I was thinking for a word, but yeah.
But I was just thinking of something for the podcast we can do next week. Instead of just predictions, we can do Players of the Year as well. So it at least goes a little bit longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, we'll do that. But yes, because I didn't do that this week. I just did Players of the Week. But yeah, this was a good win for SK. This is their first year back. They were a team before, right? As well as I know Origin was a team before. Was SK?
Yeah, SK was actually a really good team. They've won a split.
Yeah, and then they
with Forgiven as AD.
So kind of like no, I know Immortals didn't win a split, but it was kind of like something like where Immortals used to be was a really good team and then just kind of didn't get in.
Yeah, I think they may have actually the next split gotten either relegated or something.
Oh wow! So it was.
Yeah, they were gone. I think Forgiven he got in some European countries you have to do mandatory military service. I think he had to do that, and the team kind of fell apart.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like it's also some European countries, and I believe it's Korea as well, and China. They all have mandatory military.
Israel too.
Israel. Well, we don't have an Israel league to follow, so.
Well, I know, but
but yeah, so it's interesting in that sense. But yeah, good job by SK to get back in the playoffs, first year back in the LEC. So that's awesome. SO4 again, very disappointing after such a great start. But with that, let's go to our players of the week for the final week. Player of the week was top laner was G2 Wonder, even though he didn't have a good second game. His first game he deserved MVP of that game. A KDA 3.8, CSM of 9, damage percentage of 30.3, DPM of 566, and his Rise game against Fnatic was like the only reason that game didn't end was because of Wonder. He had so many amazing
his
plays.
Rise ult to dodge a Karthus ult was so clean.
So clean. That was such a good play. And his Rise ult to get in the backline with
flank.
Yeah, with the flank with the Alistar.
With the Alistar,
oh my god, that was so good.
So nice.
Such an amazing game by him. The only mistake he made was not bringing the two caster minions into his ult at the very end. It's the only mistake of the entire game he made.
You win some and you lose some, but they've lost a lot recently.
Yeah, they have. I'm a little worried. I wonder if it's going to be just like sandbag type situation, or it actually is some problems.
I think they're just trying stuff and trolling, kind of.
Mm-hmm. All right, jungler of the week is Fnatic's Broxa, a KDA of 9, damage percentage of 20.2, and a DPM of 408. Mid laner of the week was Origin's Nukeduck. He had a KDA of 9.5, both on Swain. CSM of 9.1, damage percentage of 25.9, and a DPM of 504. ADC of the week was SK's Crown Shot, a KDA of 12, CSM of 10.9, damage percentage of 27.1, and DPM of 456. And that didn't even count his tiebreaker game. That didn't get counted to the stats I saw. So I was like, oh. So he even had a better game on top of that. And then finally, support of the week was Origin's Mithy, KDA of 10.5, average assist 10, and a vision score per minute of 2.34. So with that, let's go to the end of season power rankings. And can you guys tell me your power rankings, or type them, or just tell me, and I'll type them in while we're talking. I, for one, have Origin as the number one team in the power rankings going into playoffs this year. I think they have just looked so strong these last few weeks, and they took a game off G2 even, and I just think that they are the team to beat at the moment. G2 struggled a bit.
I can tell you mine real quick because they're similar to yours.
Okay.
Fnatic first, then Origin.
G2.
And then Switch, Vitality, and SK, and the rest is the same.
SK, Okay, I'm assuming you mean by that I'll
Lies.
put Vitality over Misfits still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just move.
All right. Okay. And good. And down.
Yeah.
And boom. Got it. Sweet. Brock.
And mine's literally the exact same as Brian's.
Nice. Look at that.
Like whenever Brian said his, I was like, "This is going to be awkward when it's my turn."
Alrighty, and then just real quick. So for the first time all year, we have G2. Well, besides for the preseason, first time since like week 1, we have G2 fall off of number 1 spot.
Yeah, that's strange. It's weird to say, but
Yeah.
good lord, the ass into their season was bad.
Yeah, it was not. Did you say their ass into the season?
Yeah, I did.
I'm like, wait, I've never heard that.
You never heard the ass into something? I say that
No.
all the time.
I've never.
Because it's the back end.
Yeah, I've heard that part. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I think that definitely, but like Brian said as well, it could just be throwing, or like experimenting, because they did clinch first place. So we can't.
I will say I was expecting a lot crazier picks in the Misfit game.
Yeah.
Like, I was expecting some crazy pick.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't
Well, it's just like the Z pick is really fun, but even if you're good at it, is it still good enough for competitive? So that's why I feel like maybe they're just
experimenting. Yeah.
There's one region who played Zed and did really good in the game. I can't think of what it was though. It was probably
it was LPL. It was EDG.
Yeah, it was probably. I was about to say it was probably LPL.
I don't want to talk about it. I found out. I didn't know this. EDG has never finished lower than second in Spring Split ever. And the fact that since week 3 I've had them out of the playoffs and they win against Billy off a Tom Kench lick steal on Baron.
Hey, that's pretty good.
And that's pretty much going to put them into playoffs because of that, unless there's a big upset. But oh my god, that game, even that was Monday. I am still tilted about that game 4 days later. Tom Kench literally, it was just like Vitality's with Jack Troll, with his Q on Elder, except it was on Baron and they won the game instead of still losing the game. But let's wrap up with our, well, not wrap up necessarily, but our current LEC standings to end the game, and then our standings, which again is the way we predicted this year. So an example, we all predicted G2 to win this split. I predicted G2 at 16-2. It means I picked them to win 16 games and to lose 2 games. So that simplifies how these standings work. And then the key to it is, if it's in green, that means you predicted the exact record that team had. If it's in yellow, it's you predicted within 1 game. If it's in orange, it's within 2 to 3 games. I know it says 2/3 games, but deal with it. And if it's in red, it means you were 4 games or more off. And I was the only one to get any team correct. I got 3 teams correct. But
wow, congratulations!
I still only won by 2 picks though, because I can't predict the actual in-game results. But yeah, so I had G2 at 16-2, or I'll start from their standings. G2 went 13-5. I had them at 16-2. Brock had them at 16-2, and Brian, you had them at 17-1. Your only game you picked against G2 was the Misfits game at the end of the year.
Heck yeah. It's a smart strategy. It worked out pretty well. I mean,
yeah, it worked.
Not great, but
it messed you up for 4 games. But other than that, well, it was pretty decent. I
didn't pick them, but it's hard to pick against them.
It is very hard to pick against them. Next was one of our biggest blunders this year. We all had Vitality as the second best team according to our picks. Vitality finished 10-8. I had them finishing 15. I picked them 15 times this year, so 15-3. Brock and Brian, you guys both tied at 14-4. We picked them a lot. And we never got off the hype train. They kind of died towards the end, and I don't think we ever just fell off. I think that was the issue.
Kind of depressing.
It is.
My third pick is kind of depressing. I didn't know I did that.
Yeah. I have Origin at third at 12-6. They went 12-6. I'm just going to go in the order, or I should have done... Yeah. Oh well. I'll just do it right now like this. Well, I'll just go down the LEC standings instead, so that's easier to follow. I don't know. I already did Vitality, but we're just gonna go on from. So Origin got second at 12-6. I had them at 12-6, so I was correct there. Not all in the picks though. Brock, you had Origin at 7-11 this year. You were an Origin hater.
Yeah, dude.
And
It worked out.
did it?
They heard our podcast. They saw somebody was rooting against me. Like, look, we need to turn that guy into a fan.
Okay.
So?
Okay. I see it from that perspective.
I would like to all the Origin fans to thank me. You're welcome. I really helped you guys out.
Mm-hmm. And then Brian, you picked them at 10-8, which is pretty close. Two games is still definitely respectable.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm super respectable, except on all the top teams that I had that I thought were gonna win, and then Splice, because I guess I'm a Splice hater.
We were all splicey. I can't wait to get to that one.
Yeah.
Next we have Fnatic at 11. They finished the season 11-7. I had Fnatic at 11-7. Pat myself on the back. Brock, you had them at 12-6. Really close. Really close. That little bit of bias. At the beginning of the year.
A little bit.
12-6. And Brian, you had Fnatic at 8-10. So you were 3 games off, which is still not in the red. So, you know, as long as
Didn't
you're not in the
believe.
red. Yeah. You jumped on late. You were a little more skeptical.
I was.
Which is fine. Anything that's not in the red, I'm like okay with, you know, because it's very hard to pick day to day, especially in best of ones. Now Splice, on the other hand, finished 11-7. Very good year for Splice. I had Splice in 8th place at 6-12. Brock had him in 9th place. Brock had him as the second worst team in the LEC.
Brock picked Rogue 7 times.
Brock picked Rogue 7 times, by the way, which tied Origin.
Bro, you know what I'm saying? Upset picks, man.
But you could pick the other team.
What are you talking about? That's the most upsetting that would happen.
True,
if
but
Rogue beat you.
you don't just pick all the 16 seeds in March Madness.
Hey, man. You know, sometimes it be like that.
Yeah, you had Splice at 5-13. Brian, you had Splice at 6-12 like me. So not only did Brock have him a little bit lower, but we all were pretty down on Splice, which we really shouldn't have been. That was pretty bad by us. I'm sorry, Splice.
Yep.
It gets worse for me later on. I'll show you that. Next was Vitality. We already went over Vitality. Next was SK Gaming. I had SK at 7-11, so I was. They finished 9-9. I had them at 7-11. Brock had them at 8-10, so you were only one off Brock. You were really close. And Brian, you also had them at 8-10. So we were all pretty close on SK. Really, I was 2 off, and you guys were 1 off each. We just didn't believe enough.
Well, also, a lot of these teams that we predicted wrong, like Splice, a lot of their wins were upsets at the time. They took a lot of games off of teams that were better than them.
Mm-hmm, that is true. So we picked the team that was better than them, and we lost the game because of that. Yes, and then we have SO4 is the next team, and SO4 went 9-9. I had them at 10-8, so I was 1 off. Brock, you had them at 11-7, and Brian, you also had them at 10-8. So we're pretty good on SO4 as well. We didn't fall off the hype train as much as we should have, but yeah, they started out really good this year, and then they just collapsed completely. This one I find very funny. Misfits went 8-10. I had them at 10-8. Brock had them at 9-9, and Brian, the Misfits hater, had them at 11-7. You picked Misfits more than anyone else in this podcast.
You know, I just have a weak spot for teams that should win but don't, like CLG. So.
Oh, that's the same with me with Rogue. They should have won those games.
No, they shouldn't have won those games. That's just dumb. That's not even like parallel.
That's completely parallel.
Oh my god. You do.
Were they ever not in last?
Hey,
did they ever go
yeah,
ahead?
They weren't in last for like 1 week, I think.
See, you picked Rogue 4 times. Mine was only,
Yeah.
3 more than that, and I was off by 2.
Before we get to Rogue, let's talk about us being Excel haters here, by the way. Excel finished 5-13.
Who's the smallest Excel hater?
The guy who still picked them at 2-16.
But I picked them twice as much as you did.
True. Me and I was shocked when I saw this. I only picked Excel 1 time all year, and so did Brock. We picked them in the same game. I think it was
I mean,
against
they went
Rogue or
4-14.
Yeah, they went.
Well, I
they
had
went
picked them.
5
That
and
was Rogue.
15.
I'm seeing.
Yeah, they went.
5
They
and
went.
15.
They went 2 and
5 and
16.
What?
They went 5 and 13.
Oh, okay. Just kidding.
So you were still 3 off. So you were not the best, but still better than us. And finally, Rogue,
It's
as
not
you
red.
know, I had Rogue correct here. 2 and 16. I picked them, and then Brock, you had them winning 7 damn games.
Hey man, they should have won.
Oh my god, that's insane to me. And then
I think
Brian,
Brock is a Rogue fan.
he might be. He might.
Hey, look, at the end of the day, let's say they win 2 games. All right.
Mhm.
All right. Let's say
did.
they win 4 games.
They didn't.
And Brian would have been perfect. That's only 3 more than Brian if they win those games.
You're still.
is a
you're
lot of
still-
games.
You're still near red. That's like getting a D. Like,
7 and 11 is almost a playoff team. Not
Hey,
quite,
look.
but almost.
3 games makes them 5th place.
Hey, well, anything can happen, man. That's why you gotta shoot your shot. And Attic lost like 7 weeks in a row,
Uh-huh.
and we were still picking them.
I'll say it now because it's about to be, but I have a perfect bracket in March Madness, but I do have my alma mater winning, so
Ole Miss.
I understand where you're coming from.
All right, so that's our standings. There's one more thing which I wanted to talk, which is our pick accuracy. So in the games that we picked G2, or all the teams, like so in the 16 games I picked G2, how did they end up faring? And obviously this is for all the teams, but that's the example. So first off, we'll just go in order of the standings. G2, I picked them 16 times, and like before, I'll bring this up so we can actually see up there. Like you can see how many times we picked them, or you can just count, but I'll make it easier for you. When I picked G2, they went 12 and 4. When Brock picked G2, they went 12 and 4. And when Brian picked G2, they went 12 and 5. So all very similar.
Good
How-
job, Brian. You made us lose a game.
Wait, what?
Because you picked G2 17 times, so you picked them.
Oh, okay. Wait, how do we have the same amount of wins?
Because we picked them in all the same games except for one, so we won all the same time.
Okay, I understand.
Got it. Next is Origin in second place. They went 8 and 4 when I picked them. They went 5 and 2 when Brock picked them, and they went 8 and 2 when Brian picked them. So they did actually better for you guys than they did for me. This split.
You're welcome.
Even though you got them perfect?
I had them perfect, yeah, but that's the thing, Brian. You're much better. I noticed on these that you're much better for the most part, at least on the top teams, at picking their individual games, where you weren't as good on picking their overall standings, which kind
okay.
of balanced out to being really close in the end of the day. Fnatic, when I picked Fanatics, they went 8 and 3. When Brock picked Fnatic, they went 8 and 4, and when Brian picked Fnatic, they went 6 and 2. So they
Damn,
were pretty
Misfits
good.
lost me this season, the split.
They did. Just it's not just Misfits, by the way.
I hate them even more. No, the
We'll
other
get down
teams,
there.
the
We'll
other
get down
teams
there.
I don't care. The other teams I don't care about. But
Splice finished in 4th place. When I picked Splice, they went 6 and 0. Why did I not pick this team more?
Yeah,
this
I did.
team,
dang.
every time I picked them, they won. They were my favorite team now. They never let me down when I picked them.
Good. You can take off that liquid hat and get you a Splice hat.
I was actually thinking, no. I was going to say I should buy a bunch of hats, but that would be a lot of money. But Brock,
Well, you know, once you get that streamer money, you can buy hats.
Yeah, I should buy it. I was literally thinking like how cool it would be to have a collection of all 54 teams, but I added up the money. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
Even if they were $10 a piece, that's a nice
Yes.
chunk of
You
change
need
for
to do the
hats.
LPL region.
Yeah.
Get you some hats for the LPL region.
Dude, I love so many LPL teams.
How much do you think? How much did the liquid hat cost?
I think it was like 20 or 25 bucks. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, so if you just did NA and EU, that's 20 teams. It's like what, 400 something bucks?
Yep. Like I said,
bad.
I thought about it for a bit, but then I decided it's probably not worth it.
Where would you keep them all?
I don't know. I don't even have anywhere to keep them all. That
You have
you
to
got,
make a hat rack.
you got to admit
Anyway.
that would look cool. That would look
It
cool.
would look cool. It'd look
That seems like a lot of money to you. How much did you spend on that mobile game again?
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Some
I've been
vitality.
clean for a year and a half. But yeah, so Splice went 3 and 2 for Brock, 4 and 2 for Brian. Vitality is what killed all of us. 8 and 7 for me, 7 and 7 for Brock, and 8 and 6 for Brian. Technically positive, but there was a lot of games that we picked Vitality that they disappointed.
Hate
I'm
that
a
team.
Vitality fanboy. They're my favorite EU team,
Mhm.
so I have no problem with this. I had faith, but they just failed me.
They let you down. Good thing there's no NA team that does that to you.
It's like any team that I cheer for.
Or yeah, even professional teams.
Atlanta Sports, LOL.
Mm-hmm. SK, we've talked about on the podcast being a very difficult team to pick. Not a single one of us went positive picking SK this year. I went 3-4. You guys both went 3-5. They're a very tough team to pick.
Yeah.
Next was SO4. They went 6-4 when I picked them, 7-4 when Brock picked them, and 5-5 when Brian picked them. The funny thing about this is the first 4 times we all picked, me and Brian picked them, and the first 5 times Brock picked them. 4-0, 5-0, 4-0. And so you can do the math on the rest of that. 2-4, 2-4, 1-5. Very bad.
Positive.
We didn't get off that hype train.
Nope.
Positive picks for me. I'm going to take that win.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Misfits, like Brian was saying earlier, I went 5-5 predicting Misfits. Brock went 5-4, and Brian went 5-6. They screwed you, Brian.
They did.
And you knew it. You knew they were going to be bad. You had the bold prediction correctly.
You know, I don't know. Whatever.
That was one of the most surprising things to me. Is after all the Misfits hate, you actually had Misfits pick the most out of all of us.
It's truly counter logic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Living up to your team's name. This one was funny to me. Excel. Not a single one of us won a pick with Excel. That's why we didn't pick them anywhere. I
Really?
went 0-1. Brock went 0-1, and you went 0-2.
Huh.
Not a single time Excel was picked on this podcast that they won a game.
Wow.
And finally, Rogue. I went 1-1 with my predictions on Rogue, which was pretty good for a team that only won 2 games.
Hey, my man.
And,
Dang, Rogue actually killed me.
Yeah, Rogue, you went 0-4, and
If
Brock.
I didn't pick Rogue once, then I probably would have tied you at least.
Yeah, you would have. And Brock, you picked Rogue 7 times, and they burned you 6 times.
Dude, it's fine, dude. I know what's going to happen next season.
You picking Rogue
Rogue's
again?
coming in hot.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
They're coming in
Undefeated
something.
season.
And with that,
Let's get a tattoo bet on that. If they
nope.
if they have a perfect season, me and William get neck tattoos. But if they don't, you have to get a face tat because you already
Okay,
have
I'll
a neck tat.
I was thinking about getting one anyway, but yes, let's do it.
You know, I don't ever want to take tattoo bets like that, but that's one of the safer ones. Rogue having a perfect season.
Even if they
It's not
came
a
in
bad
and
one.
win the split, they might not go perfect.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
Not a bad one.
But yeah, that is our podcast for the regular season for EU. We will be back Thursday for our predictions for the playoffs. I don't want to make the predictions now because there could be a freak injury or there's someone could be banned. You know, stuff.
A
Can
lot of
happen
time.
in the next week. We still have a full week before the games even start. So we'll do the predictions next week. We'll also do players of the split next week as well. So thank you guys for coming to watch, and I'll see you Sunday for LPL. We won't have any podcasts anymore for this week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.